What's up guys, it's Aaron from Gear Up and welcome to another episode, and I hope you're doing fine. It's already July 2020 and we're still dealing with this crazy year as it is, so I hope you're taking care of yourself. Now, today we're going to talk about another niche entry into the already crowded active noise cancellation headphone arena. This guy, the MU6 Space 2, get it? The MU6 Space 2 has been hailed by many reviewers like Antwon over at Just Doing Audio, shout out to you, as a serious threat to the Sony WH-1000XM3 for only $199 guys, $199. And just for safe measure, MU6 threw in a whole kitchen sink's worth of features that would make even the Sonys blush. So the important question is, are these guys as good as they say it is? Well, let's find out after these messages over that way. Let's do it. Alright guys, we're going to begin by looking at the case for the MU6 first before we move on to the headphones. The carry case itself is matte and has a semi-grippy surface, but at the same time, it's also a fingerprint and grease magnet. As you can see, I'm running my fingers down, it's leaving an imprint really quickly. I'm not going to clean these, both the case and the headphones, because I want you to see them as they are as I handle it from a day-to-day basis and how they look like, not all tarted up for the studio or anything. On the front here, anyway, is the MU6 logo, which I really dig. It's a nice design. There's a fabric carry loop here on the side and a smooth sliding zipper. So when we pop that we open the cover, it's felt lined on the inside cover as well as the main cavity here. There's a velcroed partition that holds a couple of accessories. If you can see it, that's the USB-C to USB charging cable, and also a pretty unique right here. This is a 2.5mm to a 3.5mm audio cable. Now, both of these cables fit in this space as it is right now only because they're neatly wounded and cable tied and new and everything. But my guess is once it's used and open up and loosen up a little bit, my guess is only one of these cables will live here at any given time and the other one has to find somewhere else to stay put, either in your backpack or stuffed in here somewhere. This is it for the case. It's pretty generic. I wish there was some kind of stash pocket at the back here or something, but you know, especially for $199, maybe a little bit more functionality to it would have been nice, but the quality is not bad. Let's move on to the headset. So here we have the Space 2 headphones in the flesh, guys. It's a hybrid active noise cancellation headphone with Bluetooth 5.0, auto pause play, touch control, transparency mode, auto power off, CVC noise suppression for phone calls, and get this, aptX and aptX low latency, AAC, and SBC support. That's like all of it is like serious A-list features right there, guys. Now, if you're a fan of black, then you should be excited about this one because it comes in no other color, guys. And the exterior kind of reminds me somewhat of the OG QC35 from Bose if I squint a little bit, except with a little bit more plasticky build quality. It weighs 292 grams, a little bit on the chunky side, and is made mostly of ABS plastic, as you can see all around the framing here, and stainless steel both in the joints and in the band inside there. You're going to be cleaning this quite often, by the way, just like the case, as the mildly glossy plastic attracts also same thing, grease from my fingers and also hair oil, especially in the band right up here. In terms of battery life, I got about 20 hours of listening time with ANC on 95% of the time. The other 5% I was just playing around with the different modes. But all said, it is in line with the factory specs. On the other hand, I also got about 26.5 hours without ANC on, which is a slight bump above the 24 hours set on paper. Okay, let's check out the left ear cup next and then move up from there. Now, only the left side holds all the physical buttons on the Space 2. The buttons themselves, I wish they were higher quality. They're kind of fiddly, as you can hear. And they're made of plastic. The spacing is just right though. I can feel for them just by touch. In terms of feedback, they're a little bit on the stiff side, but not bad at all. Now, the power button is right here. It sits right next to the red LED, and it comes on only when you pair and it's on standby. This button right here cycles through the ANC and ANC off as well as pass-through, and then the USB-C port is right here. Here's the 2.5mm headphone port, which is unique, but don't worry, it serves up the same functionality as a 3.5. Now, here's the microphone port for phone calls. There are other mics. Supposedly, there are 6 altogether, but I believe the rest are specifically made to handle ANC and pass-through, and this one's for phone call, and I'll explain why I think or believe that later on in the video. In each ear cup, guys, there is a 40mm zirconium dioxide driver, which is rather similar to what other companies call diamond-coated or ceramic hardened drivers, because ZrO2 is used as a diamond stimulant and in production of ceramics. So we'll see how these guys handle sound in a few minutes. Now the foam padding on the inside here in the ear cup cavity is thick and is emblazoned with, at least a first for me, serif L and R's to identify each ear cup. And I've said this before in my other videos that this might not work, this arrangement might not work for some Asians who pronounce their lefts and rights as refs and lights. Yes, I'm gonna get in so much trouble for that. The ear pad is soft, albeit not as plush as many headphones we've seen here on Gear Up. That said, I was surprised that I could wear this for many hours without discomfort over my ears, so perhaps chalk it up to good weight distribution throughout the band. The ear cup is not removable and is not leather, by the way, and something you can't miss in this cutout is the proximity sensor window that handles the auto pause play. As well as also I think starts the timer for auto power off when the headphone is taken off your head. This is also a first for me because usually this is covered and discreet, so I'm not sure if MU6 or MU6 did this on purpose to remind us that yes, we have a proximity sensor right here. Articulation of the ear cups is pretty full range here, guys, so even without the case, you can store this nice and compact in your bag. Now, the band offers good extension to fit larger heads, but it doesn't have any visible indicators to tell you what extension or level extension you're at, which is not really a big deal. And now, fully extended, you can twist and turn this headphone and you can barely hear a creak from the structure, which is pretty impressive. Now, up here is what I really don't like. It's a narrower than expected padding strip for the top of your skull. At least it's thick. But one problem I have is where this meets the extension bands, because at this point, they're really close enough to your head where they will catch strands of hair when you make adjustments while you're on your head. It kind of reminds me of headphones from the 80s, but not in a good way. Over on the right ear cup, we have the MU6 logo that's mirrored on the left side, and I forgot to show you that earlier. And above this all is a label with MU6 spelled out in case you couldn't make out what the logo itself said. Both sides also have the same venting ports along the top side of the ear cups. And let me see if I can show you this. This looks like venting ports, but when I shined my flashlight around there, I couldn't see anything functional, so that's probably for show. At least that's what I believe. Here are the touch controls. As you can see, you can tap the logo here to pause play, swipe up and down for volume control. Although you can't hold at each end of each swipe process to continuously change volume, that would have been nice. You swipe forward and backward, of course, to go back and advance to the next track. And similar to headphones like Sony WH-1000XM3, when you cup the entire right side, you activate pass-through mode. You'll hear a beep when you do that, but it's also the same beep when you activate any of the touch controls, so it always makes me think I initiated an accidental command. And oh, by the way, look at this ear cup. It is thick. It looks like a, I don't know, a hunchback turtle or something. So guys, have you heard that I've been trying to get to 5,000 subs? And did you hear that we're already more than halfway there? And if you haven't already, please consider showing your support by clicking subscribe down below and turning on the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos come out each Friday. Thank you in advance for your help, guys. Thank you for your support. Back to the program and get me to 5,000. Alright guys, are you ready for the phone call test? I'm gonna switch back and forth like I always do between the camera and the microphone on this thing. In the background, I'm not sure if you can hear my dad mowing the lawn, and as well as a window unit air conditioning running in the neighbor's house. And as you can probably tell as I switch back and forth, noise cancellation is actually pretty effective on this thing. Except in terms of voice quality, I think it's fine. It's really clear. A little bit muffled but clear, but it peaks really easily. I'm talking at a relatively normal voice. Again, that's a truck passing by. Let's see how the noise cancellation works. Sorry to interrupt there. But my voice does peak quite a lot. I have to lower the volume of the recorded clip right here. So if you're on a phone call with this, talk at a slightly lower volume and don't yell, because the other person is probably going to burst their eardrums. But it's not bad for one single microphone handling phone calls. I confirmed this with MU6 and they said only the single microphone in port in the left ear cup is handles phone calls, and the rest do ANC and all that kind of stuff. So it is pretty darn good for what it is. Phone calls, I'll definitely use this. It's very usable. There's enough bass, enough clarity. You're not like sounding like a robot or anything. So not bad, MU6, not bad at all. Alright guys, it is time to do the Bluetooth distance test on the Space 2s here. I have some Collective Soul playing Run on Deezer here in high fidelity on my Pixel. I'm going to put this phone at the end of my deck and we'll see when this headphone start cutting out or completely disconnects from my phone after we walk a specific distance. Now, these headphones sport Bluetooth 5.0, so should theoretically last around 33 feet. Pardon the mess on my deck here, we are doing a project. My phone is at the end of the deck, and where I'm standing is around 25 feet. still going strong. And by the way, you can also see, you know, how the headphones fit on my head. They look kind of big, as I mentioned earlier, kind of thick. So, you know, for everyone is different, but there's a space here between my skull. And already, by the way, I'm hearing cutouts. This is not a good sign for headphones. Headphones usually should last a little bit stronger, but it is in line with Bluetooth 5.0 and what it, you know, when it should cut out. So I'm not too upset or disappointed about it, but the cutout is happening around the 35, 37 feet mark, and I'm completely dead at 40 right here. So, you know, for headphones itself, I'm not talking about earbuds headphones, this is one of the lowest performing ones I've seen so far, but you know, it's in line with Bluetooth 5.0, so you shouldn't worry about it too much. And again, as I was saying, that the fit is, you can see the gap between my skull here, and you can see whether this is your kind of thing. And I just got a signal reconnect again, but it doesn't continue media like some devices. So, you know, I can tap this and it starts again, so it's not too bad. Anyways, back to the studio. Today is such a warm day. I'm already sweating buckets here in the studio. It's only 10 a.m. and I already wish there was an air conditioner in here, dang it. But anyways, let's talk about some of the things that I do like about the Space 2. And the first highlight is sound quality. And let me say this thing won't be stealing the crown from any of the leaders just yet, but as a whole, the listening experience is pretty darn mature. It's not flat of a sound profile, but more like a shallow U, which is not bad. If I listen to music at low to mid volumes, for example, the lows, mids, and highs are pretty good. And if I crank up the volume a little bit more past that point, there is little to no distortion, which is good news. But if I listen closely, there is some blurriness and clarity loss that's not as evident at lower volumes. Now, staging is also pretty effective, and amplification is also well modulated all throughout the volume range, which is really nice. So most users, most listeners would really enjoy these pair of headphones, to be honest. So aside from the blurriness and clarity loss issues, I think there's one more issue though, is that the drivers have some kind of speed limiter attached to them or something. They do demonstrate some semblance of playfulness that stops short, and I am kind of disappointed, say when I listen to a snappy, energetic beat like Can't Say I'm Country by Florida Georgia Line. Yes, country, it's awesome stuff. The song sounds like it's being played in slow motion or at a slower speed or something, so maybe these drivers need a break in time. The active noise cancellation chip on this thing, guys, is actually pretty effective. I'm quite impressed with this thing. You can check out my test right after this and you'll see what I mean. And anyways, you can also switch between a couple of levels of noise cancellation, strong and normal, on the app itself. Though I wish, and it would have been better if you could have done it directly and on the fly on the headphone itself. That would have been so much more convenient. And by the way, when you do switch between the two different levels, especially from strong to normal, you will hear a distinct whooshing sound. And this is not the fault of the device. So if you're tempted to spam my comments down below and tell me like, Aaron, you didn't tell me about the whooshing sound when you turn on noise cancellation. No, it is not the device's fault. It is just a natural thing. It's science, it's biology. It's just a eardrum reacting to a perceived but not actual, mind you, change in pressure due to the lack of sound. So that's science, guys. Now, one weak point of the active noise cancellation that I found is it doesn't handle really low frequencies or sudden changes in sounds like chatter or conversation, as well as other brands. So just bear that in mind, guys.
Transparency. Noise cancelling off. Noise cancelling. Transparency. Noise cancelling off.
The last positive is high-end features, guys, and I can't remember the last time I saw auto start stop, auto power on, noise cancellation, CVC, touch controls, transparency mode, aptX and aptX low latency, AAC, SBC, the whole caboodle wrapped into one device for only $199. That's a really good deal and a win for all of us, right? Well, yes and no, and the no part leads us into the first negative, because while it is nice to have high-level features and it's great and all on your resume, The execution in this case, the execution of two key functions leave a lot to be desired. First one is touch controls, and y'all know how I feel about this topic. The actual touch sensitive surface on the ear cup itself is this small, guys. So trying to accurately place your finger on it is a test of patience and requires a lot of practice. And compounding to this even more is the swipe itself. It requires you to swipe from point to point rather than from the middle like you usually do with other devices to the point or direction you want to. In fact, the Amazon item description adds this on as an addendum. They say swipe from point to point, and the owner's guide does not say this one bit, so just so you know. Second is the auto power off. I just can't get this to work, guys. I've toggled this on and off in the app multiple times just to be sure. I've also tested this with my headphones connected to my phone as well as disconnected with the headphones resting on the surface, of course, with no media playing. Nothing happens. It doesn't power off. Nada. And the odd thing about the whole execution about this function is the auto pause play is on by default straight from the factory, but the auto power off isn't. The app experience is so sad on the Space 2, guys. Last week I had similar issues with the Powerbeats Pro where I thought that the app was more like a shell, that you cannot tweak any functions with it. You can only check your battery levels and update your firmware, and that was it. Now, the MU6 version is no better, and the low ratings on the App Store and Google Play really reflect that. As you can see though, somebody definitely played some time in making this look good, the app look good, but functionality is as bare bones as they come. The only thing you can do is toggle ANC strength, turn on power on and off, and also auto pause play, and that's about it. I don't even know how you're gonna check updates for firmware, and don't even ask me about how you're gonna tune the equalizer because there is none. So thumbs down to that. The last negative is build quality, and this is more of a niggle than a huge knock against the device. But at this price, I am surprised to find things like lint in screw holes that were stuck there during assembly, or as you can see here, some glue peeking out from the case right here, or maybe that's just Chinese burger, I'm not sure. But the biggest gain that could have been had is if MU6 had chosen to use better plastics. So that would have made a huge difference in both actual and perceived quality. So here are my final thoughts, guys. The MU6 Space 2 is an interesting beast because it combines nearly everything that you need in a well-priced pair of headphones. $199, that's not bad at all. But yet, I find it rough around the edges, especially where it counts, like in controls and customization. Now, MU6 sent me this copy so that I can give you my unbiased opinion on this. So after many nights of sitting on my rooftop and pondering over this headphone, and also trying to spot that stupid Neowise comment, which I didn't see at the end of the day, darn it, I give this headphones, the Space 2, a gear up score of 79.4, a solid C+. So I recommend this for those who want something of everything in a headphone, but don't feel like paying high-end headphone prices. This is a well-balanced piece that sounds pretty good and has solid active noise cancellation as well. On the other hand, this is not for you if you need more control and customization, or if you're an audiophile or you've already experienced higher end devices, then you'll be disappointed by this one. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you come back next Friday for a new one. You guys are super awesome, and I love y'all and your support. Now, if you haven't already and would like to see more content like this, click subscribe down below and turn on the bell notification and spread the word. Tell your friends and family about it. And also visit my Patreon page where you can buy me a cup of coffee or beer or something, or tea. And also remember to thumbs up if you like this video because it's a responsible thing to do. And comment nicely down below too. And thumbs down. Thumbs down to secondary waiting rooms. And you know what I'm talking about because that's the one in clinics and hospitals. Why do they exist anyway? Why do they make you wait in a second waiting room for the doctor and nurse? Did they do some studies where 2 waiting rooms are better than 1 or 3? That's just weird. Or maybe that's why they call us patients, because we have tons of that to be waiting around. Anyways, thank you so much for being here, guys, and I hope to see you back next week. Remember to do something kind and nice and loving for somebody because the world needs it more than ever. And by the way, this video is dedicated to my friend Lauren, who just passed away from cancer. I love her and I really miss her, and I hope you guys have a good week anyway and enjoy a weekend. God bless and peace out.